Don't forget to use TCG Center 5 code on ccgcastle.com and get 5% discount on your purchase. Check video description or visit CCG Castle for more. Hello everyone and welcome to Pokemon TCG Center Mario 2, and today we will be looking at the Virginia Regional Championship Masters Division Top 8 Seismitoad Crobat deck that Michael Pramawat played. So sorry if I pronounced the surname wrong. So basically this is his deck list that he managed to get to top 8 on the Virginia Regional Championship. So I missed two more Zubats with free flight on the deck list, but we'll get later to that. So basically the main thing in this deck is to go with the Seismitoad, lock down your opponent with the Quaking Punch, and pretty much spread the damage around with your Crobat and the Golbat line, and pretty much you also have those Super Scoop Up, so you can put back your even damaged Seismitoad or your Bat line to your hand. And you also have the AZ and the Rock Guard, which will allow you to with your Seismitoad to put your input damage when your opponents attack your Seismitoad to 6 damage back. So this was the pretty good deck list, and I really like it. So let's move into the deck analyze so you can guys see what he played in his deck. So we'll start with the Shaman EX. So he played only 1 copies of Shaman EX, which means that he can set up when he played from his hand onto bench and draw cards until he has 6 in his hand. So 1 copies of Shaman only. A lot of people play at least 2 copies, but he played only 1 because he also have the Jirachi EX with the Stellar Guardians, which will allows him also to draw any supporter card from his deck when he played to bench. So that's the reason why he only played 1 Shaman EX. He also played 1 Didane as a tech, because with the entertainment he can search his deck for up to 2 basic Pokemons and put on the bench, or even energy short for 20 times the amount of energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon, so this can be pretty good against those Evoltal decks. He also played 4 copies of Free Flight Zubat, which will have the free retreat as long as Zubat does not have the energy attached to it. And he also played 3 copies of Sneaky Bite Golbat. So Golbat have the ability which allows him to put 2 damage counters to one of your opponent's Pokemon in play when you evolve your Golbat from hand. The same thing is for the Crobat with the Surprise Bite, but he will do 3 instead of 2 damage counters. And he also has Skill Dive ability to attack with only 1 Colress energy for 30 to any of your opponent's Pokemon in play. For the bench, weakness and resistance will not apply. So he also have the 3 copies of Crobat in this deck. Moving on to the main attacker, as I mentioned earlier, so he have 3 copies of that Seismitoad EX with the Quaking Punch, so for the 30 damage, and with the Muscle Band you can increase to 50, and your opponents will not be able to play Trainer card, or any item card. He can play Trainer cards, but he cannot play item cards. 1 Enhanced Hammer as a tech, which will allow him to discard any special energy attached to any Pokemon that opponents have in play. 4 copies of Hypnotoxic Laser, so with Hypnotoxic Laser he can just increase that damage for 30 more if he have Urban City Gym between turns with that Seismitoad EX, and also if your opponents, if you get heads on the coin flip and your opponents will not awake, he will stay asleep for turn more, which will also prevent him from attacking if he don't have the Keldeo Rushing ability with the Flowstone in play. Also 1 copies of Super Road. With the Super Road you can shuffle back to your deck in combination any basic energy card or Pokemon from a discard pile back to your deck. This is also good. 4 copies of Super Scoop Up. With the Super Scoop Up he's also able to get heads on the coin flip and scoop any Pokemon with all cards attached to it back into his hands. So he can do with the Seismitoad if he gets a lot of damage, or he can just scoop back that Crobat and spread damage around again. 1 Tool Scrapper also, which will allows him to remove 2 tool cards attached to Pokemons in play, both even your or your opponents. This is good against those headringers when opponents attach headringer to your Seismitoad and you cannot attack because you need additional energy. Well, you can just screw that and say, well, I have Tool Scrapper in my hand, I can just remove it, so you just waste your headringer. 4 copies also of Ultra Ball in this deck. With the Ultra Ball, pretty much you can discard 2 cards from your hand and search your deck for any Pokemon real and put into your hand. So 4 copies of that. Also 4 copies of Versa Seeker as a pretty good card, which will allow you to grab any supporter card and put it into your hand. So grab any supporter from your discard pile, put back into your hand with the Versa Seeker, so you can do that 4 times, so you can, for example, play 5-time AZ, which will allow you to put one of your Pokemons from your play into your hand, but you need, in order to do that, discard all cards attached to that Pokemon. So you should probably just use AZ for those bats line, but maybe even for the Seismitoad if you have a lot of damage and you don't have the other ability, so you just want to get a raid so your opponents will not take the prize card, or even for those Jirachi and Shimins, so you can scoop them from the play and don't leave your opponents free 2 prize cards. 1 Colress also for the late or mid game. Shuffle your hand into your deck, then draw a number of cards equal to the number of benched Pokemons, both your and your opponents. I really like the Colress, it's just good card. It was printed back in the Plasma Storm. A card like that was not reprinted again, but who knows, maybe it will be. Also, he played 1 copies of Giovanni's Shim, which will allows him either to draw cards until he have 5 in his hand, or during your turn, of course, the main turn when you play this card, your Pokemon's attack will do 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon, so this is also good if you need it in case for the knockout, if you're 20 short, for example, with the Seismitoad. Also, 1 copies of Lysander instead of 2. Well, we see that also Daniel Tavilla played 1, but for example, Kevin Baxter played 2 copies in his Vespiquen and Flareon deck, but this Seismitoad deck also have only 1 copies of Lysander because he have a lot of different type cards, a lot of tech build cards, so he only get space for 1 Lysander. Also 2 copies of Ant, the most broken card in the expanded format, which will allow you to end your opponents down to a number of cards equal to his prize remaining cards. Also, you will do the same for you. 1 Pokemon Center Lady. With Pokemon Center Lady, you can heal 60 damage and remove all special conditions from one of your Pokemon in play, which is also good for those Seismitoads. 4 copies of Sycamore, so he can discard his hand and draw cards until he has 7. So this is also a good thing, pretty much staple in each deck, either Sycamore or Juniper. Some player play 3, some player play 2 copies, so some player plays 4 copies. Also 1 copy of Xerosic. Choose a tool or special energy card attached to Pokemon in play, even your or your opponent, and discard it. So this is also good. So with it, it's like he have 2 Enhanced Hammer, which is also good. It's good for the mirror match. If you're stuck with the Seismitoad, you need to have Xerosic for stuff like that. 3 copies of Silent Lab. Each basic Pokemon in play, player's hand and player's discard pile has no ability. I really like this stadium. It really makes sense in this deck. It will block your Zubat's ability for the free retreat, but it's pretty. We can also see 2 copies of Muscle Band in this deck. So pretty much with the Muscle Band you can increase your active Pokemon's attacks for 20 more, of course before applying weakness and resistance. And this is a good card because it's affect your damage before applying weakness and resistance, so you can also hit for more damage before applied weakness. But I think that it will be better that they make tool cards that does not apply weakness and resistance, in my opinion, but who knows. 1 copies of Rock Guard as a spec. So pretty much like Bursting Balloon, but it will not be discarded at the end of your turn. If the Pokemon discard is attached to your active Pokemon and it's damaged by opponent's attack, even that Pokemon is knocked out, put 6 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon. So the A-Spec as the A-Spec, so you can have only 1 A-Spec in your deck, but right now we have those Bursting Balloons who are printed as the same text as the Rock Guard, but they're just not the ace packs, and you need to discard them at the end of your turn. Also, 4 copies of Double Color Synergy, of course, for the Seismitoad, and we also have 3 copies of Water Energies, so you can also attack with the Seismitoad in case your opponents manage to remove your Double Color Synergy somehow from your Seismitoad in play. And pretty much that was the 60 cards deck list from the Michael Pramawat, sorry if I pronounced the surname again, from the Virginia Regional Championship Master Division Top 8 decks that I made reviews. So thank you guys for watching once again. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more future videos, and until the next time, I hope you enjoy, have a nice day, and goodbye.